Good evening and welcome to November 13, 2018 Valley View School District Board meeting. We'd like to apologize for being a little bit late, but our executive session went into overtime. Mr. Baduras, would you please lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Perro, could you please read the affirmation and the board education mission statement?
Our mission is to empower all learners to be college and career ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, the agenda, please.
Oh, yes, Mr. Zach, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Mr. Gerzafi, the treasurer's report, please.
We'll start with Treasurer's Action Report 5.1 is the monthly report for October. Includes the financial report, statement of revenue, expenditures, and equity, along with balance sheets for 10 representing funds, along with summary of revenue and expenditures for those same 10 funds. Total interim obligation payments, as well as our debt service payments, total $33,664,725.17.
So moved.
Any discussions or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, a roll call vote, please.
Member Baduras?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Treasurer's Action Report 5.2 is a schedule of bills for the month of November. We've got 8 funds representing bills payable of $2,878,314.50 for your action this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, a roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Baduras?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
4 additional information reports for you this evening, including summary of investments, the property taxes received, state funding update, as well as all schools trust account activity for September 2018. Information only.
Any questions? Consent agenda items, Dr. Mitchum.
Yes, Mr. Zach, I'd like to ask that the board approve the consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.5. 6.1, board meeting minutes for 10/22/18. 6.2, executive session meeting minutes 10/22/18. 6.3, gifts for Jonas Salk Elementary School, Romeoville High School Secondary Transition Experience Program, and Bolingbrook High School. 6.4, student activity contract request approval, Irene King Elementary with Scholastic Book Fair, and 6.5, Bolingbrook High School trips.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, a roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Baduras?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Student and staff recognition. First one is the Pillar of Valley View, Independence Elementary School, Principal Miss Mitchum.
Good evening, board members, senior leadership, and everyone here tonight. Welcome and thank you for coming. Independence Elementary School is proud to nominate our teaching and learning coordinators, Kathy Ward and Saeed Ghafour, as pillars of Valley View. Both Ms. Ward and Mr. Ghafour have established themselves as coaches to several teachers in the building. They have quickly gained trust from teachers as they are often in the forefront of leading professional development in the building and are part of the building's impact team, which we call our BIT. They are very busy attending all grade level meetings and support teams at early release while teams plan. Ms. Ward and Mr. Gafour have partnered with several teachers and teams and have established respect, confidentiality, and have empowered teachers to take risks while giving supportive feedback. Having two TLCs, such as Ms. Ward and Mr. Gafour, allows them to support the many differentiated needs of the building. Congratulations, Ms. Ward and Mr. Gafour, on being pillars of Valley View.
Thank you. Next, we have ICEC, the Illinois Council of Exceptional Children, Yes I Can Award. R.C. Hill and James Adams students.
Good afternoon, board, senior leadership, and community. The Illinois Council for Exceptional Children's Yes I Can Awards program honors and celebrates the achievements of children and youth ages 2 to 21 with exceptionalities. The purpose of the award is to encourage individuals to seek their highest potential and to increase public awareness of the abilities, aspirations, and personal qualities of those with disabilities. We are really proud to announce that Valley View School District has 2 of the 6 state award recipients. We have Jared Gonzalez, he's waving today, and his brother Neffy. Jared Gonzalez won his award in the area of technology. Jared began with 12 core language words and 3 phrases. Once he was given his new technology, he exceeded expectations, and within only 10 weeks, he was combining 2 to 3 words independently. He connects with students and staff to share the gift of language with others, which has formed understandings about communication around our school.
Jane Addams.
Lauren is being recognized for her strong academic skills. She has worked towards growing those skills in all content areas and does not let her learning differences impact her growth. Lauren goes above and beyond to make sure every assignment is turned in and has found additional opportunities to increase her learning, which include coming to school early and independently joining academic groups. Lauren is extremely deserving of this award, and I'm proud to be able to present her tonight, so congratulations.
Board members liaison report. From my left? From my right?
I just wanted to thank all our fellow board members. It is National School Board Members Day on the 15th, and also to our board liaisons, those young folks out there. Go young folks. We're going to hear from you guys later. And to Jared.
Audience participation.
I know, board liaison, people,
Up.
young people.
Oops, sorry. We have the Bolingbrook or Romeoville?
Both.
Bolingbrook first.
Good evening. I want to take a moment and welcome and thank everyone who have gathered here today. My name is Nehal Kaur, and I'm a senior at Bolingbrook High School. I'm very excited to be given this opportunity, and I'm very honored to be part of this leadership. My main focus as a liaison would be to spread the value of AP exams throughout our student body. I've been part of many clubs, leadership societies, and sports here at BHS. From math team to DECA to volleyball to National Honor Society, and every aspect of my interest have taught me and helped me grow in a unique way. I'm beyond thrilled to be able to experience this opportunity, and I am determined to use this leadership opportunity to leave a lasting benefit for the district. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ariana Barajas, and I'll be one of your student liaisons. I am currently a junior at Bolingbrook High School and hope to support the various ideas of my peers. As a student, I consider myself academically motivated and driven. As an individual, I take pride in being involved in various activities such as Science Club, NHS, Best Buddies, and WHS. Given this opportunity as a liaison, I will ensure that I will help improve Bolingbrook High School with the feedback of my peers. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maria Spencer. This is my senior year at Bolingbrook High School. I am a member of the National Honor Society and a part of the varsity cheer team at BHS. And I am looking forward to representing my school as a liaison because I will be able to learn new things, share my ideas, and improve things as best as I can. Thank you.
Hello and good evening. My name is Salvador Perez. I'm a junior at Bolingbrook High School. I'm part of Class of 2020 Student Government, and I'm part of the marching band Raiders. I am so excited to be part of the student liaison to have the students' voices be heard.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Simran Sangira, and I'm currently a junior studying at BHS. I'm a NHS and WLHS member, as well as a Raiders marching band member. I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to represent the students at BHS. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Angel Lee, and I am a senior at Bolingbrook High School. I have quite a few titles under my belt, as I am the tutoring committee leader / member of NHS, an AP Scholar of Honor, a member of World Language Honor Society, and a member of Bolingbrook High School's Black Student Union Club called Empower. I am also among the top 10 students in my class. I will be aiming to report on the academic sector of BHS. I am looking forward to serving you as a student liaison because last year the board was extremely receptive of what I had to say, and I am confident that we will make more progress this year. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carlito Miguel, and I'm a junior, and this is my first year at BHS. And I'm very excited to be a student liaison because I feel that I can truly make a difference in BHS. Thank you.
Good evening, board members and community. My name is Cameron Pryor, and I'm a sophomore at Bolingbrook High. I take part in Bolingbrook track and Bolingbrook tennis. I'm very excited to be a school liaison to give the students a chance to be heard throughout the school district. Other than that, have a good evening, and thank you for your time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the school board and community. My name is Kazim Niaz, and I am currently a senior at Bolingbrook High School. It is with great appreciation that I am able to serve as a student liaison from BHS for a third year. I always have enjoyed such a unique experience of representing our school, and I hope to work with the board to improve our community in the future. Speaking of the future, I plan to follow a path of becoming an attorney with a background in business administration. Although I still have time to decide which university I will attend, I know that I will leave Bolingbrook High School with a strong foundation. The skills I have developed in these past years have strengthened my character and enabled me to achieve my greatest potential. I am involved in the National Honor Society as well as the Muslim Student Association. I recently took the opportunity of joining the Principal's Leadership Committee formed by our principal, Dr. Paskavich, and other administrators. Our goal is to ensure that students are given each and every chance to grow as our future leaders. As I stand here today with my peers, I believe that we can all make a difference for the betterment of our community, and it is with great distinction that to represent Bolingbrook High School to show how we honor the Raiders. And like always, your feedback is important to us. We would be extremely happy to answer any questions from the board.
I don't have a question, but I just want to welcome you and say it's nice to see you again this year, and I'm looking forward to the whole rest of the school year.
Thank you so much, like always. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Bolingbrook. Up next, Romeoville.
Hello and good evening. I'm Anjeet Svinad, and I'm a senior at Romeoville High School. First, each of our liaisons will be introducing themselves this evening. We are missing Allison Malone and Abdullah Shaub, who are working on the fall play this evening, along with Daniel McRaven, who is in a meeting with the mayor of Romeoville.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lizbeth Gonzalez, and I am a sophomore at Romeoville High School.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Joseph Vasquez, and I'm a senior at Romeoville High School.
Good evening. My name is Denilah Bissick, and I am a freshman at Romeoville High School.
Hello, I'm Katrina Cotton, and I'm a senior at Romeoville High School.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tegan Snyder, and I am a junior at Romeoville High School.
Hi, guys. I'm Adato Tunadella Boo, and I'm a junior from Romeoville High School.
Hello, I am Gannon Orfino. I am a sophomore at RHS.
Good evening. I'm Alyssa Justolero, though many people call me AJ. I am now a senior at Romeoville High School, and I also have an announcement for an upcoming events that's coming up for both BHS and RHS. So there's the Madrigal Dinner, where the Madrigal classes and groups, they have a live performance for you. BHS's performance is on December 1st, while ours is on December 2nd. For RHS, the tickets are $40 for Ashland Place, but also be reminded that it's a 5-course meal plus live entertainment by the students who have been practicing all year for memorizing at least 24 songs or more, plus a play. So thank you. If you would like to join, feel free to contact Mr. Fisher or Mr. White, who are our choir directors. Thank you.
On behalf of the staff, administration, and students of RHS, we would like to thank you for offering us this opportunity to present to you as board liaisons from Romeoville High School. We are looking forward to presenting to you in the coming months. Additionally, we would like to thank you during School Board Appreciation Week for all that you do to support the students, staff, and administrators of Valley View. Please accept this small token of our sincere appreciation. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, audience participation. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? If so, please state your name, and remember that due to time restraints, you have 5 minutes. Superintendent action reports. Dr. Mitchum?
Yes, Mr. Zach, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda items as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Okay. Actions reports, Ms. Kinder.
Yes, sir. Action Report 11.1 is seeking the board's approval this evening on special education school year known as ESY program for the 18-19 school year. We presented information at the last board meeting, and I'm happy to answer any questions. This is a specialized program for a limited portion of our special education population in accordance with their individualized education plan.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Action Report 11.2, we are seeking approval for the high school summer school program for the summer of 2019. Again, at the last board meeting, information was presented for this program, for the general high school program, as well as the driver education program. Details are contained in the action report, and I'm also happy to answer any questions about this program.
So move.
Any questions or discussions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
And with Action Report 11.3, I'm presenting two policies for approval. It is 6330, Achievement and Awards, and Board Policy 780, which is release time for religious instruction or observation. As is our standard operating procedure, we typically review all board policy in accordance with school code and legal guidance as well. And so these is just standard update and review of these policies.
So move.
Second.
Any discussions or questions?
I did have a question about the 6.33. At the bottom of it, it had a spot for a revision, so I didn't know if it was being revised or if it's just what we had last time.
It is what we had last time. I believe there was very minor adjustment with an update with the school code, but there is no change to the content of the policy. But it had not been amended since 2006.
So there was a change just to the number, or what are you saying?
I could look back specifically at the detail, but there was no change to the content. I think it might have been like a slight change with wording, but there was no change to the content in the policy.
Okay, we can have a roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Action report, Mr. Gerzafi.
Good evening. 4 action reports this evening, beginning with 12.1, which is a resolution to determine the 2018 tax levy. In accordance with the Truth in Taxation Act, the district must officially determine and adopt a tentative tax levy at least 20 days prior to the final adoption of said tax levy. If the increase of the 2018 levy is in excess of 105% of the previous year's aggregate extension, with the exception of debt service, a public hearing must be held on said levy. The tentative levy that I have prepared is not in excess of 105% of last year's extension. Therefore, we are not required to publish a public notice of the tax levy. We will be asking you to adopt the final 2018 levy in December at our board meeting. Within the packet are several exhibits, beginning with our equalized assessed valuation history. In that exhibit, you will notice that the property valuations within the communities that we represent are proposed to increase by 4.81%. That's down from the 6.29 last year and the 6.14 in the prior year, but higher than the 3.43 that we realized in 2015. The 5-year average for property valuations is 3.96, which is certainly better than the 10-year average, where we were 6 years running where we had a negative property valuations, 10-year average negative 1.08. So again, 10-year average negative 1, 5-year average just under 4. Second exhibit is the comparison of last year's extension to this year's levy request. As mentioned, we are not in excess of 5%. We are at settling the levy request at 4.96, $152.8 million. This is more than we'll actually receive, but we are purposely setting it higher until we know what the exact property valuations, as well as the new property that's coming online, are. We won't receive those definitive totals until sometime in March from the county assessor. Debt service is also slated to receive an increase going from $31.8 to $36.3 million. Overall, the levy is $189.2 million. Exhibits 3.1 through 3.3 are different scenarios as I've prepared in the past, basically making assumptions based on less EAV than anticipated, greater than EAV anticipated, less new property, greater new property, and 3.2 is as expected. That's our best estimate based on historical values. Again, we've got an EAV total figure of $2.5 million with an operating levy of 150.6. That's a guess. As I suggested, we'll be asking for 152, just to make sure that we capture any and all property levy authority that is given to us via the property tax cap law. The final exhibit is a CPI chart. It is the CPI-U, or Urban Index, as determined each December. It is the governing index that drives our tax levy. You can see that the last 10-year average for the CPI-U is 1.6%. The 5-year average is 1.4%. The last 2 years, it was 2.1 and 2.1 in 17, and for 2018, it's again 2.1. Right now, we don't have October, November, or certainly December. We believe it will come in about 2.2 or 2.3, so higher than we've seen in the last 3 years. But if you reflect back in 14 and 15, the CPI was 0.8 and 0.7. And so as those years begin to fall off, the 5-year average should see a trend upward. But I think it's a good illustration of what the cost of living is as it relates to our property tax levy. Some key takeaways for the 18 levy. As mentioned, the operating request, $152.8 million, which is 4.83% over last year's request. The debt service extension will increase by $4.5 million. Total levy request for 18, $189.2 million. Again, we will not receive that much from new revenue, but we are requesting more due to the unknown values of real property as well as new property. Overall, the expected levy increase, including the new property and debt service, would be $9.5 million over the prior year's extension. And so at this time, I am recommending that we approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
Any questions or discussions? Thank you, Gary, for all the work you do. A roll call vote, please.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Next is our employee insurance benefit renewals. These are they go out to market with Alliant Mesero, our insurance group.
Excuse me, Mr. Grisafi?
Yes.
We can't hear you on this end.
How about now? Better? Sorry. Health insurance. The administration is recommending renewal of our contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're very satisfied with their services. We do run a self-funded group health and dental plan. They are proposing an overall decrease of 43.8% of the third-party administration fees that they typically charge us, and those are illustrated in Exhibit A. With dental, there's no change year over year. The same with vision. We've got a 4-year contract which runs through December of 2020. Stop loss, the news is not so good. We had a bad year in stop loss. Basically, stop loss coverage is a program where large individual claim losses are covered by a third party. We're responsible for the first $270,000 of any individual claim in a calendar year. Anything in excess of that would be the responsibility of the stop loss carrier. And as I mentioned, we had, I think, 6 cases that exceeded that $270,000. One was over $1 million. And so they're coming back to us. Mesero went out to market, approached 11 carriers. We only received 1 competitive quote in addition to our incumbent carrier, Sun Life. They initially wanted a 50% increase, which is a cap based on the contract we have with them. Allows them to go up to 50%. With a little negotiation, we were able to get it down to 47%. But when you look at the loss ratio over the last 3 years, we're fortunate that they kept us for the next year. So we will be accepting that, or recommending we accept that. Life and long-term disability, no changes there, as we have a contract that runs through December of 2020 as well. So overall, between the Blue Cross Blue Shield decrease and the Sun Life increase, our fixed cost will increase by an estimated 16.2% for the 2019 calendar year. And so we are recommending that effective January 1st, 2019, we approve the renewal with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois as our third-party administrator for health and dental, and also approve renewing our stop-loss, specific stop-loss coverage with Sun Life effective January 1st, 2019.
So moved.
Any
I have-
co-
I have a question. The stop loss, so that's pretty much estimated. You don't really know what that's going to be, so am I right on that?
No, the premium is the premium. It really depends on our enrollment, but we know what the rate is. So, you know, if we had a decrease in our enrollment, the rate would be, our premium would be less, and if we had an increase in enrollment, our premium would be more.
So that 270,000, is that per,
I'm sorry, that's the set amount. That 270 will not change, correct?
regardless of how many people use it, or is that per person?
That is per person.
So in that regards, you really don't know because you don't know how many people are going to need that? Is that correct?
I'm sorry, yes, I misunderstood your question. That is absolutely correct.
Okay, and from your estimates or from your numbers, last year we had how many people using it?
I think we had 6 that approached, or that exceeded the 270, the 270. And so really, you make a risk assessment, you look at your historical trends, how many have hit the number. They've offered an increase in deductible for a decrease in premium, but that means we would eat the difference on that number of claims. So if we had 5 claims and we wanted to save, let's say, $40,000 in the premium, but if 5 claims hit, we would each $30,000 above the 270, and so you could do the math and say it's not worth it. And when we're running not so good, I'm not willing to take that risk with our money, so.
Gary, could you explain to us what the self-insured is so people could understand?
Sure. A self-insured program means everything that we control everything that we do. We employ the benefits administrator, in this case Blue Cross Blue Shield. We go out to market and hire the stop-loss carrier, in this case Sun Life. We design the plan design, so we can determine through collective bargaining what we want those benefits to look like. The difference, if you were fully insured, is that you would go out to market and say, we've got 2,500 lives, 1,700 lives, however big your group is. Give us an estimate on the cost of providing this level of benefits, and that's what you would get from a Blue Cross, an Aetna, a Humana, United Healthcare. The problem is if you have a bad year, your renewal is going to be pretty extreme, and your options are take it or leave it. If you don't like what you're receiving from your incumbent carrier, you're going to be forced to go out to market and solicit other plans, other designs, and so right now, when we have a good year, we keep the difference. If we have a bad year, obviously we've got to cover that. If you're fully insured, if you have a good year, you're not getting a refund. You might get a beneficial renewal, but you've paid that money to the carrier, and it's gone. And so I think there's a higher level of quality control. If you don't like the administrator, but you like your plan design, you can change your TPA without changing your plan design. On a fully insured contract, you're basically subject to whatever the carrier is going to provide you.
And it's my understanding that most large unit school districts are self-insured?
I'd like to think the better large school districts are. But yeah, I think that it's certainly a greater advantage if you're a large group, definitely.
Thank you, Gary.
Sure.
I guess we're going to need a roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Third action this evening is a continuation of our consulting services agreement with JAR Consulting. They're a firm in Springfield that specializes in representing our interests regarding legislative matters. They've kept us abreast of all the school funding reform that has occurred. And now, as we find ourselves in the throes of a changeover in our government in Springfield, there's a good possibility that we might see something related to property tax relief, property tax freeze, income tax increase. And so we just want to make sure that our interests continue to be represented down there. And so I would recommend that we continue to approve the consulting services agreement with JAR Consulting for the 2019 calendar year in the amount of $3,000 per month.
So moved.
Second.
So I have another question. So exactly how, I know we pay lawyers to tell us what the law is. So what's the difference between what we pay our lawyers for and what this consulting firm is doing for us?
I think you kind of helped describe the answer. The lawyers will tell us what the law is after the fact. With JAR, they'll give us a heads up on what's occurring in the legislature in either house. We'll have the benefit of knowing what's being discussed, what the impact might be, and give us the ability to reach out to our professional organizations, whether they be the school business officials, superintendents, or school boards, to try to change direction or kill that legislation as it might be that would be detrimental to our interests.
Thank you, Gary. I believe we're going to need a roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
No.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes.
Final action this evening is a recommendation pursuant to the projects that were presented at the October board meeting. We will be replacing and adding synthetic turf to our football, soccer fields, as well as our baseball and softball diamonds. All total, we've got just under 300,000 square feet of artificial turf that we're looking to install. We have chosen to proceed with procuring Field Turf, which is a premier turf provider, using two of their best products to turf those fields. The purchase agreement is directly with Field Turf through a national cooperative program or a co-op offered through Sourcewell, formerly known as NJPA. In addition to receiving competitive co-op pricing, we have worked closely with Field Turf to receive additional discounts as outlined in the proposal. These would include things like credit for reuse of the granular infill material, no upcharge for the field markings, and a discount for multiple field purchases. I did go through there, through the proposals, and all total, between donations and a combination discount, it's about $116,000 of savings. And so we're pleased to be able to bring that forward. So at this time, just in light of being able to get into the queue so that we're not waiting for our fields to be surfaced, if you will. They're telling us the earlier the better before there's any sort of price increase, or again, more importantly, to get into the order queue. We are recommending awarding a contract to Field Turf USA for furnishing and installing artificial turf at Bolingbrook High and Romeoville High football, soccer fields, and infields for a combined price of $1,831,566, subject to attorney review and approval.
I'd like to make a comment about that. Just so everybody knows where this began, the numbers did not look like this. So I want to say thank you to Mike and to Gary for all the work that you guys did, getting these people out there and discussing this with them, because this looks a lot nicer than what we really were looking at in the beginning. So for those of you guys that don't know, when I saw this the other day, I was shocked. So very nice work, guys. Very nice work, Mike.
I have a question also. I'd done some research on the pros and cons of artificial turf, and one of the things it does say is that Field Turf, which is where we're getting this from, is one of the largest artificial turf manufacturers, and they sell lead-free artificial turf. Did we look into that?
Excuse me, Deb. We need a motion first.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't ask a question yet.
It's my fault. I jumped out of turn.
Yes, we'll blame JT on this one. Motion, somebody?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Discussion? Go ahead, Doug.
I don't know if what we have currently is even considered lead-free. So let me look into that a little
Okay.
more and find out if what we have and what's being proposed.
Okay, because it did say that if it doesn't have the lead in it, the colors aren't as bright, but that they are the largest manufacturer of lead-free artificial turf. So we could look into it? Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I have a comment. I love to have nice stuff for our school district, and I love to have nice stuff for our kids. But I really have a tough time when people in the community come to me and say, why are we spending this much money on this, and why are we spending this much money on that? And right now, we don't even have a teacher's contract yet. We need to have our teachers. I'm just having a tough time with this. I would like to, if at all possible, to table this for a while until we get the other issues in order, and then move on this if at all possible after that.
Can I respond to that? Or Jim, go ahead.
I was just going to say that there's a time constraint on tabling this in order to get this done in time for seasons to start.
First of all, in regards to this and the teacher's contract issue are two separate things. This is bond money that we approved several months ago, and I do think that it's as far as the community is concerned, I don't see why the students and the athletes in Romeoville and Bolingbrook shouldn't have the finest facilities if we can provide that for them. So that's just my take on that. And believe me, when you look at these numbers, this is not what we were originally discussing. So this is fantastic.
On a side note, the article does say that once you use artificial turf, you can't replace it with grass.
Okay, I believe we've had a motion and we've had a second for the vote, so we should continue on with the roll call vote.
Okay. Member Gilbo?
No.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Action reports, human resources, Dr. Nash.
Good evening. Action Report 13.1 is the Consolidated Action Report for Certified and Classified Personnel. Tonight we're seeking your approval on 27 items for certified personnel, 43 items for classified personnel, 5 items for classified administrative personnel, and 1 item for certified administrative personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, a roll call vote, please.
I do have something. I don't know how much I'm allowed to discuss. I guess I just have to say that, so never mind.
Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
No.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Zach?
Yes. Superintendent information reports.
Yes, Mr. Zach, posted for information is the proposed 2019-2020 Board of Education meeting schedule for your review and consideration. If there are no concerns, the meeting schedule will be brought for action at the next board meeting. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. The next information report is the Illinois School Report Card. We wanted to provide information as a follow-up to the information report that was presented on October 9th regarding ESSA, known as the Every Student Succeeds Act. This is the primary federal legislation that takes the place of No Child Left Behind. It approaches many of the same components that NCLB did, however, it gives more control to the states. In turn, the Illinois State Board of Education developed a state-level ESSA plan, and along with that came a new support and accountability system for the Illinois State Board of Education. As part of that plan, it is to have a public school report card made accessible to the public. So what this report card does is paints a picture using multiple measures of how our district and our schools are progressing on a wide range of goals using multiple measures of performance. So I wanted to inform the board and the community that this public school report card is available at illinoisreportcard.com. This is the homepage, what it looks like, and you're able to type in any public school in the state of Illinois to find out information about how those schools are doing. And this is going to be a test of some technological savviness here because it's not showing on my laptop. Where's the browser? Do I hit that one? Or this one? Okay, that'll do it. All right, I think I found the trick. So this is the Illinois School Report Card website. And you can type in our school district, and what you find here is the district snapshot. And this is a pretty powerful platform in terms of the information that it provides. And for each district, you will see that we have an overview of the district snapshot, our number of schools, graduation rates, student mobility, summative designations, which I'm going to revisit. That was explained in October, and I'm going to revisit that here momentarily. Funding levels, chronic absenteeism, and retention. And then, as you will find in this platform, that drilling into any one of the particular measures allows you to see the information at a little bit deeper level, allows you to see a state comparison, and provides an explanation of the display, as well as sets the context, and then oftentimes provides additional resources. So the one that I just clicked on was student mobility. And as you can see in Valley View, we are the light green bar compared to the dark green of the state. We're very comparable to the state in terms of mobility, just slightly higher for the 2018 year. It's important to note with this particular measure, for example, that the mobility rate reporting changed in 2017, so there wasn't duplicate counts of students. So I clicked on this one as an example of how you can compare Valley View to the state as well. You're also able to compare our schools to other schools that are similar or different. On the homepage, a couple other things that I'll point out, for example, is like teacher retention rate. Again, you're able to look at the comparison. You can view trends. And you can see here that, for example, our teacher retention rate in the district is 86.2%, and at the state, it's 85.2%. So again, pretty comparable to the state average, but it sets the context for you to compare these multiple measures as to how Valley View is progressing. Chronic absenteeism is a change that is being reported as well. And the change that we're seeing here, and why you only see one data point, is that this shows the percentage of students who miss 10% or more of any school year. And this is with or without a valid excuse. So this now takes into consideration even if a student has an excused absence, meaning they were ill or a parent called them in sick for called them in for some reason. That now calculates in the chronic absenteeism if we are at 10% or greater of the number of days. So in a 180-day school year, you're talking about 18 days over the length of the entire school year. So again, with this first data point in 2018, you'll see that we are very much comparable to the state. I'm going to revisit the summative designations here shortly. I did want to point out some other features that are available in terms of academic progress. I obviously won't spend too much time going into this because the purpose of this presentation is to make you aware that this became publicly available on October 31st and to let you know that this is a tool that you can use to look at district performance. We previously presented PARCC results, for example, and that was looking at the state assessment that our students in grades 3 through 8 take. And this gives you a breakdown of a comparison of the performance. So you can see trends over time. You can drill down farther to look at this by grade level and demographics as well. So for example, you can see just as a quick comparison with the green bars, those are the percentage of meets and exceeding, and you can see the trend of the increase and then the comparison of being on par with the state average. And as we shared in our PARCC data previously, when we were looking at cohort growth and looking at individual grade levels, we continue to monitor and improve in those areas as well. If you toggle over, you can see mathematics, for example, and you can see the trend here where we have consistently grown year over year, and this is not a cohort comparison, this is comparing different groups of students, but you can see now most recently in 2018 that we are now exceeding the state in terms of the percentage of students who meet or exceed the standards. So the state is at 27 meets and 5 exceeds, so 32, and we are at 32 meets plus 4 exceeds, so 36 overall. And this allows us to, tell a piece of the district story in terms of having this data accessible to the public. Of course, we look at this much more deeply by school level, but you can drill in to look at certain grade level and demographics. And so I'm happy to answer any other in-depth questions that you may have as you explore this platform. And I encourage the community as well to reach out to your school if you have questions, because although this tells one piece of our story, there's oftentimes a lot of other information that we can share that tells the full story of the great work that we're doing in Valley View. I'll click on 9th grade on track, for example. Again, this is the similar format that we saw in retention, and this compares the state average of 86.8 on track and Valley View at 90.7%. Graduation rate is a piece that's being monitored closely at the state level now with the new accountability system. This top bar graph shows the 4-year graduation rate. Again, the district is the light green, the state is the dark green. So as you can see over time, our graduation rate has increased to 88%, and that is in comparison to the state's 85%. At this point, I just wanted to revisit the summative designations. Again, we had explained previously that the state plan calls for using multiple measures to determine how a school is progressing. And they not only look at the all group of students, but they also look at all of the different subgroups of students. And so the state has a rating system, and I'll explain this a little bit further, that ranks schools or designates schools as exemplary, commendable, underperforming, or lowest performing. And so overall as a district, we have one exemplary school, which I'll mention by name, is Jane Addams Middle School. So this means that Jane Addams Middle School is not only meeting the expectations for all students, but for all of their subgroups, and they are in the top 10% of the schools in the entire state. So that has earned them the designation of exemplary. 16 of our schools earn the designation of commendable, meaning they have no underperforming subgroups and are meeting expectations for their all group and for their subgroups. And then we have 2 underperforming schools that were given that designation based on one subgroup of students, and I'll explain that a little bit further. It doesn't mean that they're an underperforming school. It means that this one subgroup, looking at those multiple pieces of data, has room for improvement in terms of a comparison across the state. I had shared with the board previously regarding the indicators that are used to determine these designations. And so essentially what the state does is it has multiple measures of academic performance and growth, such as ELA, English Language Arts proficiency, math proficiency, academic growth, that's 50%, that's the big heavy hitter for our K through 8, and then science proficiency, which will be coming. And additional measures of school quality and success that include chronic absenteeism at 20% and climate survey at 5%. At the high school level, it's a similar setup where there's a weighting of 75% for these measures of academic performance. And you can see that the heavy weight there is placed on graduation rate. But those things combined equate for 75% of the weighting that the state determines in order to come up with these rankings and designation. Chronic absenteeism and 9th grade on track, climate survey are also considered, and then college career readiness is another indicator. A visual that we had shared previously is these pie charts, and this kind of gives you just a big picture of a very complicated process that the state has in place. They essentially take all of this data, they can give each indicator a scale score on a scale of 0 to 100, and then they create an index score, and they rank all the schools in the state. And then that's how they determine how you are performing in terms of your designations. So even if you're meeting all of the marks in terms of what is expected, in terms of those cut scores that they set across the state, if you have one subgroup that is underperforming or not meeting that mark, then the designation of underperforming comes attached with that. And with that, it does not mean that there's not good things going on in the school. It means that the school is going to put additional targeted planning efforts for that subgroup of students. And it also means that there are additional school improvement funds available to support those, that specific subgroup of students. So we're in the process of working with our 2 buildings on that at this point. And in the case of the 2 that have IEP subgroups that are designated as underperforming, chronic absenteeism actually played a very heavy weight in that it was 20%, meaning attendance was a concern with this issue, with this population of students for this subgroup, as was our ELA growth. So we're working closely with all of our schools on their improvement efforts, and then putting additional attention for our schools that are working and targeting specific subgroups. A quick briefing of those subgroups that are looked at by the state. There is a list of the different student groups: economically disadvantaged, disabilities, students formerly with a disability will soon be a subgroup, English learners, and then former English learners, and that means students who have exited out of services once they've hit a proficiency mark. And then also the racial and ethnic subgroups are broken down. So there's 12 subgroups. There's 10 measures. That was that pie chart that I showed you. And then we are looked at in terms of performance in every single one of those areas to determine a summative designation. So overall, the fact that the majority of our schools have a commendable status, and all but 2 instances of a subgroup were recognized as commendable or exemplary, means that we are making very good progress, and you can see that when you explore this platform. So I understand that this is a wealth of information. I'm happy to answer any questions now or at any point in the future from the board or from the community at large.
I have a question. Can
Sure.
you look at page 8?
I'm sorry, I don't have page numbers. I mean, is it a...
2018-19 indicators. Mine, it's either high school or grade school, either one, it doesn't matter. The ones with the 75% and
Sure.
25%.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was waiting for it over there. So I see in bold print percentages, 2018, 2019. So let's say English language, arts proficiency, 10% in 2018 or 2019. So is that saying that that is what our percentage was?
That is saying that, I guess the pie chart's the best example. That is saying that of all of these different pieces of data, that's the weighting that they give to that particular measure.
Okay, so then my question is, after the bold print 10%, next to it is 7.5% in 2019, 2020. So is it not weighted as heavily?
Correct.
The following year?
That is correct.
Okay.
And you see what's going to happen next year is that science proficiency is also going to be factored in. So this year it was weighted at 0%. Next year it'll be factored in at 5% of that overall weighting. So this whole list here, if all of that was thrown into a pot, all of that data was thrown into a pot, they would give a weighting to your performance in each of those areas. And then that gives you a score, and then they put that on an indicator score, and then they transfer that to calculate as an index score, essentially.
Okay, so let's go to the pie chart. On ours, it's page 9.
Okay.
On the pie chart, it says climate survey 5%. How do they get that information?
So this year, everyone got the 5% because we administered, or from the last year, we administered the 5 essentials. So that's their initial plan. I don't know fully how that will materialize, if they're going to use the actual, if we continue with 5 essentials, for example, if they're going to use a weighting that is based on the scores that you've gotten in each of those areas, because initially they've just started with administration.
Okay, so on our website, I see that we have the 5 essential survey again this year. So we
We do.
are doing the 5 essential survey again this year.
Yes, we are.
Because I've been told numerous times that we are not doing the 5 essential survey.
We are doing the 5 essential survey. We are required to give it to our staff and students, and we're required to offer it to our parents. One change that has occurred for this school year is that we've begun using a new tool that's called Panorama. And we had shared with the board previously that this is a really powerful tool to help us drive our improvement efforts, because it collects student voice and staff voice, as well as parent voice. And it's more timely because we can give it and have immediate access to the results, and we can give it multiple times throughout the year. 5 essentials is given once, and we don't receive the data till many months later. But we are required by state to minimally give it every other year. We have given it every year since it's been released.
So will we be able to see the results of the 5 essential survey? Is that come through this site as well?
What they have only published about 5 essentials in the past has been let's see, if you look under district environment, you see 5 essentials. And what they are posting publicly now is the percentage of schools with over a 50% response rate. At the 5 essentials, they report these by school only. They have not shown the district. So if we were to drill in and look at a particular school, you can see the percent response rates for each of students and staff. And if they hit the 20% for parents, you'll see that as well. And then you'll also see an implementation level in each of these 5 essential areas. And so it will be like one of these shades of blue, and that would give you the overall picture of how well organized that school was for improvement based on the University of Chicago's research. And that is available at the 5 Essentials website.
Okay, I'm going to just repeat again, just for those people that have asked me about the 5 essential survey, just so they know that I am asking about it and have pursued. I know there are other staff members that would like to take the 5 essential survey, but cannot take the 5 essential survey to have their input heard. So I just want to repeat that.
Is your concern coming from staff, students, or parents?
Staff.
Okay, the staff survey has not been released to us yet. The plan was from the state was that it was going to be released by now. However, we received notification, I'd say within the last few days, that it's not being released yet. And the reason for that was something to do with the state's new student information system. So they told us it was going to be pushed back, I believe, until December 11th. Okay.
Okay, and will more than just the teachers be able to be included in the staff to be able to take that survey?
So as I explained last year, it's the definition that the University of Chicago lists for rostering the staff. That's how ISB pulls that teacher or that certified educator roster from our student information system. But the good news is that with Panorama, all of our staff does take that survey, and we have not continued the conversation yet about a tool for our classified staff, but that is a conversation that we had started with the union previously, and we can most definitely continue that conversation as well.
Yeah, I would like that, and I would also like to be able to see the results of that as well.
Sure. Are there any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Kinder.
Thank you.
Legal service, any report?
I have no report this evening, thank you.
AFET, any report? Valley View Council, any report? Valley View Office Personnel, any report? All right, thank you. Any old business from the board? Any new business from the board? Any questions from the public on the actions that have been taken tonight? Any announcements from the board?
I would like to thank the district senior administration for our little cups filled with caramels. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And I would also like to thank the student liaisons. I don't really know what's in there yet, but they look like they could be a lot of fun. So thank you a whole lot. And again, we'll be looking forward to hearing from all of you again.
I would just like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, because we won't have another meeting this month. Any announcements from the administration?
Yes, I have one. November 15th will mark the 10th official statewide observance of School Board Members Day in Illinois. When it comes to public service, school board members are some of the most selfless volunteers around. They're in the front line, advocates providing a local voice in our public school system. They serve not for a paycheck, but instead to protect the community's tax dollars and provide a pathway to success for our children. Board members do more than just attend meetings. They devote a significant amount of their own personal time to the district. They attend extracurricular events, participate in professional development opportunities to become better leaders, and work many hours to ensure students have access to educational resources they need to succeed. Many of these activities take time away from their families that they could otherwise spend. So the cups in front of you are just a token of the district's appreciation for what you do. Wish we could do more for you, but we'd probably get in trouble, so please accept those cups with the caramels as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you. Any announcements from the public? Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you for attending the meeting tonight.